And unfortunately, you can open the metaphor out. The food we get from the culture around us is maybe food for sheep. It's not food for tigers.
Do it then.
Oh, Lizzie left.
Who is this person?
I don't know.
Or me.
Was this the same dude that was trolling earlier? Or did all the trolls leave?
You have to catch at least the spark of what your
Google
life
Chrome's never
is going
starting.
to
What
be.
the fuck?
Or you may spend those dreary
Trolls
decades
back.
in corporate
No,
America
we do not.
climbing the ladder
Maybe
that's
only
what
to
gave me a
discover
headache.
it's
That's
against
exactly
the
what
wrong wall.
Let's go back
Get
to
to the top,
trolling.
who cares?
Oh.
If this path of the hero's journey is fairly simple in design, why then is it that everybody isn't living it? Well, the answer is that most people on the planet live under a kind of a mass hypnosis.
No, I'm not saying you're. I'm just. There was trolling earlier. I don't know if you were a part of that. I'm assuming not because you sound clueless.
There's a tremendous pressure, even in the media, on really keeping people in their place, in the sense of keeping them happy, tranced out consumers.
Book full of speeches.
It's a trance of comfort. It's a
I watch
trance
lot
of
those, like
not
Les
sticking your
Brown,
head
Zig
up
Ziglar,
above the
all
crowd
those
very
people,
much.
Joe Rogan. I listen to a lot of podcasts.
That keeps the enterprise going.
Because you're so ENTP, man.
Most people think it's a luxury and a great privilege to stay home
I hate
and
that.
look at
I
their
hate that.
800-inch television. You just
I don't
miss out.
care anymore.
You're not developing.
I know what I like. I just like
We're
because
stimulated by
even if
some
I'm not an
images.
ENTP, I know that
It's about collecting things and stuff
And the
and
shit.
making a lot of money and doing a lot of things, and it's
I relate to it the most, and it's
impossible
I understand
to
my
enjoy that
weaknesses now.
because
So even if I am
end
something
up
else,
on
fuck
that
it, I don't care.
treadmill
Yeah.
and you can't get off.
Can I
And so most people,
read you
unfortunately,
my
because
poem
they
my
are
ex wrote?
so victimized by the
Oh yeah,
environment,
dude, I love this shit, man. It's
they
probably
have
make me
no time to
cry
think
like a bitch.
Dude,
or
I'll
be
cry.
themselves. They become bundles of conditioned
How
reflexes
do I begin with
and
what I
nerves
thought
that
would
are
be?
constantly being
If it
triggered
weren't
by
for
people
you,
and
I'm afraid I'd
circumstance
just blend
into very
in with all the
predictable
broken
outcomes
people
and
on
predictable
earth,
patterns
living this
of behavior.
life,
There's no creativity.
never knowing their worth. You walked into my life when I was so low.
That's the
that
trance.
stop
That's
you
the
from
wasteland
getting to
where we're
know
just guided
who I
toward
truly
this
am before I
weird
even knew.
sense of what's
Took a
real
broken
in our
heart,
lives.
and in time it grew.
And those ideas
Not
that are
only back
imposed
together,
on us
but
from the
inside
outside
too, for the
about
love
what
you
we
gave
should
me
and
was
should not
definitely
do.
true. You made me feel beautiful, safe, and so strong.
It usually
but
starts
in
out
return,
with
the love I
something
gave
like,
was all wrong.
you shouldn't
By
talk
the
to
time
that
I learned to
person
love you
because they're
like
from
you
a different
deserved,
tribe. You
you
certainly
checked
shouldn't
out
marry
and your
that
heart
person.
wasn't reserved.
You
I
should go to this
left
school,
because
you should
that's what
have
you
a
thought
certain
was
type of
best.
car,
But
you should live
on
in a
that
certain
last
type of
day, I
house,
put
you should have a
God to
certain number of
test.
kids by this type of
I prayed for
age.
him to tell me if
Should.
leaving was right. Picking
What I
my
experienced
things
in my own
up.
life was I gotta
Packing my
have
things
a
after
degree
our very
from this
last fight.
university. I've got to have this
On my way
advanced
back
degree
inside,
from
I
this
dropped my
university,
keychain.
preferably either
Picking
a
it up,
law
one
degree
key
or a
didn't
medical
remain.
degree,
The key to our
or
house was
something to
lying on
that
the ground.
effect.
God
Some
had spoken,
letters
so I left
after
without
my
a sound.
name, which would say
I
that
do
I
truly
have a
wish you the
stamp
best in this
of
life,
credibility. I
and
can
if
go
one
out
day
and
I
make my
am
six
to become
figures,
a
and
wife,
society can
I
kind of
want you to
deem me
know there's
worthy.
not a
I
replacement
have
for
countless
you who
examples
saved me
of
from being
young people
complacent.
who go to college because they expected to go to college,
I bet.
and
Yeah,
they
man, I
studied
bet that shit hurt you hard,
biology
man.
because since the time they were six, they were
man.
supposed
I
to
remember when
be
you first read
a
that shit,
doctor.
you're fucking. I know.
It's very difficult for a person who's
A
brought
girl
up
wrote me a
in
letter
this
once, man.
environment of instant gratification with the media, with advertising,
ended up taking it.
with all the promises
I'll probably read it to you.
of
Man, that shit
instant
made me-
gratification
God damn, boy.
by buying something, for example, or having a certain level of affluence,
Totally watching
that
speech.
you lose contact with this mythical domain, which is
What
actually
happened?
part of your soul. It's there in everyone.
Oh,
It's
is it
their
really?
passion, it's their bliss, it's their unique skills, it's their unique ways of expressing themselves, is their song, which if they sing, they could do anything.
If you look
Historical.
at every heroic journey, the hero has been confronted with the fact that the world that they thought was reality was nothing more than illusion.
Who is a good speaker?
I go back to the Matrix,
was,
which is
man.
what
It
was the
was fucking
Matrix?
dope
It was just this big illusion.
One of the best movies of
It
all
was the
time.
dominant values and beliefs that the world had put around this guy Neo, the seeker on the hero's journey.
Fucking,
What
he
did
was
he
able to
do?
get
He felt
fucking
this longing to go
some
beyond the
shitty
illusion,
stuff,
to
yeah,
go
right,
beyond the
but
Matrix.
besides
So he
that,
took
I
the
mean,
red
he was able
pill
to fucking,
and he
like,
woke up to
manipulate.
reality. And what was
He's able to
reality?
tell people.
Reality was
He's able to
he
tell
was
people
full of
like, that were
potential.
impoverished and that had nothing, and tell them you are the greatest thing on the fucking earth. You are the rules of the goddamn world, and they believe it. That's, I don't care what anyone says, how bad he is, blah blah blah. That's fucking ridiculous. That's power. That's ridiculous.
Separation begins with what we call the call to adventure.
Campbell tells us there's literally almost a phone ringing. It's like the universe, the divine, whatever you want to call it.
I didn't realize it was that
literally
night.
dialing you up and ringing. And giving you a call, asking you to step out into
Not
a
Man Love
journey.
Thursday.
Something breaks into your quotidian reality and makes it impossible for you to continue. Well, you can hang up the phone. You can run away. But it'll keep coming back. It'll keep coming back until you finally answer the
Ace, I
call.
remember you talked about your freaking appointment, and I was in a comment, but I remember I froze and shit. But yeah, dude, going back to that, you know what's crazy? It was so weird because when
If
you
you're
said
not
that,
paying attention,
I knew exactly
the
what you
wake-up
mean. I
calls
didn't go
come in the form of a
Afghanistan,
sledgehammer.
but I just went on
You know,
a
if you're
regular
paying
appointment.
attention, they might
On a
come in a tickle
ship.
feather.
And it was just weird because we went around sailing around for 6 months.
So we don't
It was
always get
shitty.
the call
It was on a boat,
as a
it was on
choir
board
of
ship.
angels with trumpets
Fucking
singing to
doing
us
this. And then
beautifully one sunny morning.
You go home
In
and it's
Star
like,
Wars, Luke comes back, his house has been burnt down.
like it's just weird as shit.
gotta
Like
go.
nothing changed. It's like people are still doing the same shit.
Oftentimes it
It's just
comes in
weird,
the
man. I
depth
remember
of our
it was the weirdest
despair,
thing in the
in
fucking
losing a job,
Yeah,
getting
I mean,
fired,
it's-
getting
you don't have to go
divorced,
through
having your
something
house
like horrifically
foreclosed
traumatic,
on.
but
These
it's
things
like,
that you just would never
your life has
want
changed
to
in a
have
way,
happen,
and
or
it'll never
often
be the same, and
the exact things
it's a
we need
groundbreaking thing.
to
It's,
catapult us,
you know,
to catalyze us into the next,
changes your
that
whole
next
life,
version
and then,
of
you know, you go home
ourselves.
and people are
Bad
just like,
things happen to good
they've
people.
always
And when
done,
that
nothing's
happens to
changed.
them, they typically
Just
are
talking
thrown
about
for a
sports still,
loop.
and still it's like, whoa,
Because
still,
they
arguing about
frequently
like
have
really
felt
small
everything's
politics
going
that
along,
are
I'm
very
doing everything
minuscule.
right. What happened? Well,
Wow.
you know, the universe
Like, wow, I've
just
seen people
upended
like
you.
really
And it
impoverished,
does
really
do that.
facing shit, really having like natural
Chinese
disasters. It's just
symbol
crazy,
for
man.
crisis
I was
are
like, wow.
two symbol.
I remember that was
First
a
one is
very weird
danger.
experience.
And second one immediately is opportunity.
It was also funny because it was
Crisis,
like
both danger and
people I
opportunity.
deployed with, it was only like 2 or 3
This
people that
idea
shared the
that
same
if
thing. Like
one
the rest of them was just
storyline
like, yeah, it
collapses,
happened, and they like
that's
assimilated
the end
right
of the
back.
movie.
Like nothing happened.
Is
Right back to
not
playing
true
video
of human
games.
life and never was true of human life. I know people who've prospered in
Yeah.
the most extraordinary
I think
way
that
in the
comes
worst
with
type
time.
of adversity.
Because like my second one,
It's
that was
actually
pretty much how
revealed
it
something
was.
to them
I was
about
used to it.
themselves
The first
they didn't
one,
know,
hell no.
and that
but,
became the new journey they took.
you know, I was sitting there with
Let
my
me put
buddies.
this
I'm like,
into
how are you
really
so like calm? Like, how can you
practical
just go back to doing
100-pound
business?
terms. Because if the
like, yeah,
camera
it's
had
not
been
fucking
pointed
cool,
at
man.
me
Be good
when I was
at it.
24 years old, what it would have seen was a person who weighed 320 pounds. You would have seen me puffing on 2 or 3 packs of Marlboros a day, a relationship that I didn't want to be in, and I had a job I hated. Everything was wrong in my life. And so
Why can
those
people
are
make me
ripe
watch fucking
moments
videos?
for a wake-up call in life. You know, if you haven't been paying attention enough so that you end up with a job you hate,
Xander's a beast, man. He
a
came in here
relationship you don't
fucking
want to
like
be in,
a
a
month
body
and
you
he
don't
had me.
like, and you're addicted to a bunch of things, you're ripe for a sledgehammer blow from the universe. And I got it.
You step over a threshold, meaning you move from one world into another. Sometimes you're shoved from one world into the other.
I went out for a walk and I stepped on the ice.
She doesn't talk.
On the road, and my feet shot out from under me, and I smacked my back of my head on the ground,
Exactly.
frozen ground, and it knocked me out just enough. I wasn't completely unconscious, but I had a
I'm
vision
just saying, in
while I was
comparison, you don't
semi-knocked
talk.
out.
Compared to,
I could
like,
see
you know,
down through all the layers of
Jeez.
myself to this pure consciousness
Yeah, I'm
inside,
sort of
and I could see
distracted
how all the fat I
right now,
had
so.
was organized around a whole
Yeah,
bunch of
man,
feelings
I've known
I
this
didn't
since
want
like
to let
middle school.
myself
Like,
feel.
if you want to look like
Sadness
grown up and
from
mature,
childhood
responsible,
and
just don't
a
talk.
lot of old grief in my family and anger and things like that.
People just
And I
assume that you're
realized that
mature
the
when you don't
fat was
speak that
there
much.
to keep me from
But do you
feeling
know who
those
posted that
feelings.
thing?
And so as I began to come back to normal consciousness, I made a vow
that's her
that I was
plenty.
going to change my life
there a way to
so
turn
that
that
I
off?
could
Like, I
live
don't
in
wanna
that
be
state of
yanking
pure
this fucking
consciousness
video all the
instead of
time.
having to have all of that armor around me.
My
Once you make the decisions that Joseph Campbell is talking about really hearing the call and being willing to take on the challenges of that new awakened life, once you do that, you begin to feel a power that it's like nothing else I've ever experienced. And I think a lot of us are just plain old afraid of that.
I tend to think that people wake up to the fact that they're the hero of their own life when they get tired of being the victim of their own life. At the point that that you say enough, I don't want to listen to my parents anymore. I have had it with my boss. I'm really having problems perhaps with the sermon I'm being taught. You can either surrender to victimhood, and a lot of people do, or you can surrender to a fundamentalism. You can basically give your responsibility to someone else and say, tell me what to do and I'll do it. Or you can say, I have a choice here and I'm responsible. Now, what does it mean to be the hero of your own life? It means to be responsible for your own adventure.
Campbell talks about metaphorical death, where something dies so that something can live. And in every hero's journey, there's some death moment where some old has to go and some new has to stay.
He quotes Nietzsche, and he says that the snake that cannot shed its skin must perish.
When death is a motif in a myth, it doesn't refer necessarily to what happens at the end of one's biological and physical existence. It's an indication that change is taking place.
I went through that process when I stopped being a tribal administrator and started becoming a writer. I put that aspect of myself away. It was valuable and I learned a lot and I draw on it, but it enabled me to go on.
No death, no life. No death, no transformation. No death, no change.
I said, okay, I don't want that anymore. I want this. Put that away. Made myself into something else. In essence, resurrected into being a writer.
The whole key to blessing death is to recognizing that it's just a death of one old form that has played itself out and has no use anymore, which always, as the phoenix rises, and gives way to some new form that has new intrinsic meaning and makes your life even bigger and better.
You want to have new birth, new revelation, new insight into life as you grow as a human being. You will learn to keep dying.
I think it's tricky to afford a proof. I think there are proofs in our lives. I think the proofs exist in our ability to transcend the worst things that have happened to us. My proof is I was abused as a little boy, and not something I chat about typically, but in this context, it was the worst thing ever, you know, and it went on for a very long time, and I was very young. And who I am in part because I had to face that, because I had to wrestle with that, because